The police lights flashed against the fading orange of the Wyoming sunset, cutting through the quiet of my 200-acre ranch like an unwelcome guest. I was sipping coffee on my porch, boots propped on the railing, when the patrol car rolled up my dirt drive. Behind it, a sleek black SUV screeched to a halt, and out stepped Karen Vanderbilt, HOA president of the gated community a mile down the road. Her designer heels sank into the dust, and her perfectly tailored blazer screamed city money. She pointed a manicured finger at my fence line, her voice shrill enough to spook the cattle. "That's him, officers. He's violating code." I set my mug down, already smelling trouble. Karen had been hounding me for months, ever since her HOA tried to flex its rules on my land. My ranch, passed down 3 generations, wasn't part of her precious community. I owned every inch of the surrounding fields, and she hated that I didn't bow to her clipboard tyranny. She'd sent letters, left voicemails, even tried to fine me for my unsightly wooden fence. Unsightly? It was hand-hewn cedar built by my grandfather. But Karen didn't care about history. She cared about control. Tonight, she'd escalated, claiming I'd ignored her latest cease and desist, and demanding the cops make me comply. The officers, looking weary, stepped forward. I tipped my hat. "Evening, folks. What's the issue?" Karen launched into her tirade, waving a stack of papers. "This man's fence is an eyesore. It's non-compliant with HOA standards, wrong color, wrong height, wrong everything. And his cattle are a nuisance." She gestured wildly at my herd, peacefully grazing in the distance. The lead officer, a grizzled guy named Martinez, raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, this is private property. Is this land part of your HOA?" Karen's face tightened, but she doubled down. "It's close enough. His ranch lowers our property values." I chuckled. "Close enough ain't a legal term, Karen." Martinez asked for my side, so I laid it out plain. I wasn't in her HOA and never had been, and my land predated her gated paradise by a century. The officers exchanged glances, clearly unimpressed with her stunt. Then came the twist. As Karen ranted, a beat-up pickup truck rattled up the drive. Out stepped Clara, my neighbor from the next ranch over, a no-nonsense woman in her 60s who'd lived here longer than Karen's neighborhood had existed. She'd heard the commotion from her porch and brought something Karen didn't expect: evidence. Clara held up her phone, showing a video she'd recorded an hour earlier. There was Karen, in her pristine blazer, sneaking onto my property with a can of spray paint, defacing my fence with neon orange scrawls: HOA violation. Fix now. The footage was crystal clear, time-stamped, and undeniable. "Thought you'd want to see this," Clara said, her voice dripping with satisfaction. Karen's face went pale, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. The officers turned to Karen, their patience gone. Martinez crossed his arms. "Ma'am, you're admitting to trespassing and vandalism?" Karen stammered, trying to spin it. "Two was just marking the problem. It's for the community." But the second officer, a younger woman named Reynolds, wasn't buying it. "You don't get to deface private property because you don't like it." They asked me if I wanted to press charges. I leaned back, considering. Karen's eyes darted to me, a mix of panic and defiance. She'd always acted untouchable, like her HOA title made her queen of the county. But here on my land, she was just a trespasser with a spray can. The confrontation peaked as Karen's composure cracked. She shouted, "Do you know who I am? I run the HOA. I have lawyers." Martinez didn't flinch. "And I have handcuffs, ma'am. Let's not make this worse." Clara, still holding her phone, added fuel. "She's been bullying everyone for years, finding people for their mailboxes, their lawns, even their dog breeds. She's obsessed." I saw my chance to push back. "Karen, you've been harassing me for months over a fence that's not even on your turf. Now you're caught red-handed. What's it going to be?" She tried to pivot, claiming it was a misunderstanding, but the officers were already documenting the damage. My fence, my pride, was streaked with her petty vengeance. I felt a surge of anger, but also something else: justice was coming. Karen's downfall was swift and brutal. The officers confirmed the vandalism with Clara's video and my property records, which showed my ranch's boundaries clear as day. Karen wasn't just wrong. She was criminally liable. Martinez informed her she'd be charged with trespassing and property damage, and her HOA had no jurisdiction here. Her face crumpled, the smugness gone, replaced by a mix of rage and humiliation. She tried one last jab, muttering about her lawyers suing me into oblivion. I smiled. Good luck suing the guy who owns the land your water lines run through. That shut her up. My ranch supplied the groundwater rights for her entire community, a detail she'd clearly forgotten. Clara snorted, and even Reynolds hid a smirk. As the cops escorted Karen to their car, she looked smaller, her heels wobbling in the dirt. The SUV she'd arrived in, a symbol of her self-proclaimed status, now seemed like a prop in her defeat. I walked over to the defaced fence, running my hand over the orange paint. It'd take a day to fix, but the real victory was seeing Karen's empire of petty rules crumble. Claire stayed behind, shaking her head. She thought she could bully a rancher. Should have known better. I nodded, grateful for her unexpected role in this. The community had been quietly fed up with Karen's reign, and Clara's video was the spark they needed to push back. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the ranch. I didn't press charge to need to. Karen's reputation was trashed, and her HOA board was already scheduling an emergency meeting to oust her, thanks to Clara spreading the word. The lesson was clear. You don't mess with someone's land, their legacy, or their peace. I rebuilt my fence the next day, stronger than before, and word spread fast. Neighbors started standing up to the HOA, questioning Karen's fines and rules. Her control slipped, and the community found its voice. This wasn't just about a fence or a Karen. It was about standing your ground against those who think they can steamroll you with power they don't have. I learned that real community comes from people like Clara who show up when it counts. So what do you think? Was Karen's comeuppance fair? Or should I have let her off easier? Share your thoughts. Where do you draw the line between standing up and letting go?